Storytime part 3, let's go. Wait, before we start, there's Storytime part 1 and part 2 if you want to watch it. You don't have to, because these stories aren't connected. But just know they're there. Just know that it exists, they exist. Alright, anyways, let's just get into it. Story 1. Okay, so this story happened about a year ago, so basically, I was at a school disco, yeah, and we were allowed to bring money to buy certain things, like food, drinks, whatever. But there was one thing that was free, water. And I drank a whole lot of it. I drank like 5 gallons of water in like 5 seconds. It was amazing. You should have been there. It was like, every time I finished a cup in like 2 seconds, I was like, more, I need more. As you might tell, drinking a whole lot of water in 1 minute is not good for you. So later, I started feeling like weird, I felt like really weird. So then, I went to the toilets to go to the toilets, and then I just started throwing up so much. It's like I was throwing up in the toilets in a school disco because of water. I threw up in a school disco because I drank way too much water. Alright, afterwards I told the teachers and they were kind of worried, so they made me sit out with the rest of the disco. But it was fine, there was like 5 minutes left anyways. So yeah, moral of the story, kids, don't drink too much water that you start throwing up, or else you'll feel dead, feel like you want to die, and feel like you just want to perish. Story 2. Alright, so this story happened when I was 5 or 6. Basically, it was school, yeah, and school sometimes can get pretty boring. But during lunch, you can basically do whatever you want. Yeah, I kind of took advantage of that. Alright, so basically, I peed in the sink. Okay, I'm not going to find any excuse for why I just didn't use any of the other toilets or the urinals, because they were all free. They were free to use. No one was in them. I was literally the only one in the toilets. So why I did that, I don't know. Ask 5 or 6-year-old me. And then the worst part about it is, I had a friend, he was one of my friends, and I forced him to pee in the sink. I don't know how I forced him. I just told him to do it, and he said no, and I said do it, and he said yes. But then some snitch in the upper year decided to tell the teacher, and then we got in trouble for it. So moral of the story, kids, if you're thinking about peeing in a sink, don't do it, or else you are just disgusting. Just don't pee in sinks. Don't pee in sinks. That's my moral of the story today. Story 3. This story happened like maybe a couple weeks ago, and in the story, I exposed someone who was a murderer. I exposed them. Basically, I live on a street near a girl, and she decided to collect caterpillars on her skateboard. And then, she flipped the caterpillars, killing a lot of them, and then I felt like I just witnessed murder. I couldn't believe it. Funnily enough, she goes to the same school as me. So, it was her turn to be the person of the day, to share stuff about themselves and stuff. So then, we were basically asking them questions, and I said, have you ever killed a colony of caterpillars? And she said no, and I said you have to answer honestly, and then she said yes, and then I exposed her for the murderer she was. So, yeah, she was a murderer. I couldn't believe it. So moral of the story, kids, if you're collecting bugs on your skateboard and you're about to flip them, do not flip them, or else then you'll be exposed by me. You'll be exposed by me for killing caterpillars. Story 4. Alright, so this happened a couple of years ago, and basically, so we were picking up my brother from work because he doesn't have a car of his own, and yeah, and I basically threw up in the car. But that's not the main part of the story. My dad was trying to find wipes in the boot of his car, and for all you Americans, it's the trunk. Anyways, he couldn't find any wipes, so he decided to just close the boot. But he did not realise how close I was to the boot. So, when he was closing the boot, he hit my head. My head was hit by the boot. It literally slammed into my head, and I was in immense pain. It really hurt, and I just wanted to perish. After that, we just went to the hospital, and yeah, we had to wait like 4 hours in the hospital. And since it was like 9, I'm pretty sure like we stayed up until like 1 a.m. to get treatment for the bump on my head. And by the time we got treatment, it didn't even hurt anymore. There was just bandages on my head. I was like, okay, this works. So moral of the story, kids: if you are near a boot, get away. You will hit your head on the boot, you will cry, you will scream, and it will very much hurt. Story 5. Basically, I go to a morning club called Breakfast Club, and that's for kids who don't have time to eat breakfast at home, so they have to go to school and eat breakfast and all that stuff. So basically, I basically was playing a game called Chaos Tag with some of my mates in Breakfast Club, and that basically, like, if you tag someone, they're down. If you both tag at the same time, you rock paper scissors. Whoever loses down, blah blah blah. You can look up the rules online. Anyways, so this girl, yeah, she was tagged and got down, and she said, I quit, I'm not playing anymore. And that was fine. She rage quitted. She's a baby. Sore loser. I get it. So then basically, she decided to just come back in and start tagging people. And then I was like, bro, you can't do that. You have to like announce that you're like up. You have to announce that you're playing. You can't just surprise attack. You can't just surprisingly just come back and just like be God, because no one expects you to play. I might have said that in a bit of a loud tone, but then again, we were in a hall, and noise travels a lot in the hall. So then, she started crying, and I was like, bro, this is so funny. And then, yeah, she decided to just go into a mental breakdown, and it's like, okay, so basically, and then the supervisor sort of person came over here and then was just like, hey, what happened? And then she told her that I shouted at her for playing because I was losing. And I was like, no, that's not how the story went. and then she was like, yes, that's how it went. And I was like, oh my god, this girl, I will destroy her. Everyone besides the girl's friends and maybe one of the supervisors was on her side, but then everyone else was on my side, so yeah, I guess that's a win for me. So moral of the story, kids: if you're ever in a situation where you rage quitted but want to play again, announce that you're playing, bro. Stop being weird. Just announce that you're playing. Alright, that's the end of this video today. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and just subscribe. Okay, just subscribe, or else I will destroy you if you don't subscribe. I'm kidding, of course, but am I really? Am I joking? Subscribe.